Gemini Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Welcome to your Path of True Love read, a timeless read whenever you're catching it. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Joining the Circle Productions since 1998. Can you believe it? Author of Words of Grace from a Professional Witch, available on Kindle. It's a good read. That book is something else. The Archangel of Lyons, Mark Angelo Lyons, but you can call me Mal. Hey, there's a video in the description box, a preface to the Path of True Love readings if you haven't watched one before, explaining about what's about to go down, as well as what the Path of True Love is all about. I am teaching classes on the Path of True Love on Facebook, my Joining the Circle Productions Facebook page on Thursday nights, except maybe for Thanksgiving. I hear Thanksgiving falls on a Thursday this year. Trixie and Katya. Yeah, go check that out. There's a video down there about how to book a reading with me, all that. I put it all in the description box. I don't have to say it every time so that we can get down to business. We're essentially doing a Celtic Cross spread, a classic Celtic Cross with some other cool stuff thrown in. I think you'll dig it. General read, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You know the YouTube reading rules of it all. Check your other signs, because Path of True Love, yeah, can be about romance, but it's about all your relationships. And just to say briefly, your hero's journey, your healing journey, your spiritual path seen through the lenses of your relationships in all different shapes and forms, in terms of you healing you, right? What you becoming the divine love, the true love that you already are. It's just removing the obstacles to love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. Thank you, A Course in Miracles. So enough. Both feet on the floor if you can. Focus on your breath, if you will. All the decks that I read are always in the bottom of the description box with links if you would like to look into them. Otherwise, let's do this. Please take a nice deep breath. Here we go. I call upon the collective pantheons of angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters of the path of true love, the higher selves of all involved, as well as the spirit animals and totems for the Gemini collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. I need 2 Caroline Myss Archetype cards to show us the 8th chakra dynamic, the soul powers being developed, healed, right? From shadow to light, pain to peace, toxic to healthy, lead to gold, which is what the Path of True Love is all about. So let's start with the Gemini on this side and whoever's crossing their path on the other, understanding that in a general read can go back and forth, as sometimes archetypes can be shared. Often archetypes are shared. So we're going to say this is the Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. What's their dominant archetype? The magical child archetype. Yay! Lovely. Who crosses their path? What's going on with them? Let's see how their archetypal alchemy bounces off each other in this timeless reading. Woo, a magical child and a prince. Oh boy, straight out of Disney. Here we go. Everybody has a child archetype. It is from the survival family of archetypes. The child, the victim, victor, the saboteur, empowerer, and the prostitute archetype has very little to do with sex, by the way. Things, how we learn the power of survival. It's a lifelong, it's called a chronos. You can have an archetype, a reason, a season, or a lifetime. All 4 of the survival archetypes are for a lifetime because everyone was a child. Now, everybody has a child archetype, but not everybody has the magical child. The shadow attribute, what is up for healing here on the path for you. Pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. And as a magical child archetype myself, I can well relate to this, particularly that disbelief in miracles, right? I study A Course in Miracles. I'm a teacher of A Course in Miracles, different kind of miracle, kind of. But certainly that idea, particularly with the proliferation of universal laws, as they've been taught in the past 20 years, that, no need to take action. to grow. It's all just going to come to me. I'm just going to visualize, and there's way more to it than that. Wishing upon a star is lovely, but you'll get beaten by the people who did the hard work. Terry Pratchett. Light attribute. Seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things. Hello. It's got me written all over it. The belief that everything is possible. Now, for myself, as I've grown, yeah, you can believe that everything is possible, but not everything is possible. Everything may be possible, but is it probable, right? It's like, is it possible for me to rearrange my atoms by the power of thought alone to transform, I don't know, Paul Lind, you know, like, woo. It may be possible, but it's highly improbable. So, and that can bring the disillusionment to bring someone into the shadow side of that when they didn't get something they wanted. The child archetype, regardless of sub-pattern, is about innocence and safety. So if the child doesn't feel safe, its innocence can't really come out and see the sacred beauty and the belief that everything is possible, particularly in relationships. Hello. And you are dealing, either you are you have the prince archetype, or you, again, it can flip-flop, but you're dealing with a masculine family archetype of the prince. I have this one lifelong as well. The shadow attribute, using power for self-aggrandizement. Now, self-aggrandizement, that's a really, really big way of saying puffing yourself up, right? Making yourself look bigger than you actually are. It's essentially fronting or faking. And often at all costs, right? It's like you will do that at all costs. Now, you do not have to be a biological male to have the prince archetype or any of the masculine family archetypes, because it is about your masculine energy. Feminine is yin energy coming in, gestative, creative, and then masculine is going out, yang energy. So this is where we actually have the word romance on the table, the prince and the light attribute, romantic charm and potential for power. But let us not confuse potential with kinetic, right? Everybody has the potential, but what are they going to do, right? That's a free will thing, right? Those choices. All right. Those are the archetypal bones of this spread. Let's get some tarot on the table. Classic Celtic Cross. I do it a little bit differently. That's in one of the videos down there, I'm sure. But this is going to be the next 4 chakras down. Heart, third eye, crown, which on the path of true love is pretty key, right? Bringing the internal world, the yin dynamic, the feminine energy into alignment. Please breathe. As I call upon my goddesses of air, the sign of Gemini and the powers of the East, please, 10 cards, we'll turn them over one at a time for the Gemini collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading on the path of true love, a magical child and a prince, a story, contract, clause in the contract, scene in the movie, chapter in the book, this magical child, what's going on, heart, throat, third eye, crown for the magical child. Excellent. 5 of flames. 6 of flames, which would be 6 of wands in the traditional tarot. Often thought of as a victory card. That's the 7 of flames in this deck, literally called victory. This is play. Bastet. Oh yeah. Egyptian sun goddess, thought of more as a mother goddess, sometimes as a crone, but she is the bright, warming, playful sun, but, you know, mess with her kittens and you're going to get claws. So this is a playful, creative, I mean, I would say throat chakra, element of fire, your willpower, that your ability to play right now, and maybe play with the prince, but really inside of yourself to really use your creativity in a balanced way. 6s are numbers of balance. Can you show me, please, the prince? What's going on? Heart, throat, third eye, crown there in this contract in relationship to the magical child. And we've got the 4 of blades, the 4 of swords. I know it looks like the 2 of swords, but there are 2 swords crossed under the bench there that either she knows about but is trying not to see with the blindfold or is completely unaware of. Key word on here is deception. Now, self-deception can be, this could be you're dealing with a prince who's more in the shadow or the light, or if that's the prince, that's you yourself. It's mental, element of air, third eye. The lens of the third eye has gone a little cloudy, a little dusty. Might need to Visine Windex that thing a little bit if that's you. But of course it does carry with it the same vibration of, traditional Four of Swords, rest, internal healing. I wouldn't call it meditation because the Seven of Blades in this deck literally has the word meditation on it. But I would say there's some mental rest here. Maybe to go through the inventory belief system management, which is very 90s and the early 2000s, right? NLP and breathwork and rebirthing and, law of attraction. Write down all your beliefs. So there can be some deeper thinking going on here, but with those eyes blindfolded, maybe not seeing so clearly in the third eye. What's at the core of this, please? What's for both of them, what's like the subconscious thingy going on here? Yeah, another air card. The Five of Blades, the Hurricane. There's a lot of thought going on here. Chances are you do know each other. It's not always necessarily the case on the Path of True Love read. Again, it's general. Take it how it feels for you. Five of Blades, if a breath is a thought, what's a hurricane? Now, I will say, even though this is heart, third eye, crown, this can be picking up the thoughts of other people about this relationship. It can be, in a sense, a gossip. Now, fives are numbers of change, not always necessarily conflict. But, I feel like for the magical child, they may be like, who cares, right? I'm having fun. You do you. I'm going to do me. But the prince might be a little tied up with this, particularly if they're using their power for self-aggrandizement and there is some mental static on the channel here. Now, when I read clients, I usually ask them, so I'll ask you. You don't have to comment in the description box with this one. Where is the safest place to be in a hurricane? Now, I grew up on Long Island where there's hurricanes, not all the time, but, hurricane season hits us, right? And they'll say, in a doorway or in a basement or in a bathtub or something. But metaphorically speaking, the safest place to be is in the eye. In the eye, EYE, of the hurricane, but then you can take that as being in the eye, like a very 12-step, right? Keep it in the eye kind of thing. So, if this is the toxic thoughts of the well-meaning, I know, feels like the magical child is like, whatever, I'm having fun. But the prince archetype might be like, and maybe taken in by some of the delusions of that, right? Not seeing things so clearly. All right, recent past, what's going on here? What's behind them? The volcano, another 5 here. So here we are looking at conflicting desire. Molten magma, Pele, the volcano, maybe even some built-up anger and rage that might have exploded in the recent past, which is funny because the magical child is like, I'm already on to the 6, right? I'm already having fun. Do keep in mind, volcanic ash is one of the most nutrient-dense, right, fertile, mineral-rich substances on the planet. That's why the volcanic islands are so lush and abundant, right? So there can be great creativity here. This could even be, they're giving me the word sexual explosion, but that's like almost the same thing as a Kundalini rush that comes through, a Kundalini activation if you're into the more Eastern stuff there, which it seems like this lit up the magical child, but put the prince, and again, does not have to be male or female, particularly on my channel. Gender is pretty much a non-issue. You do you. We're immortal souls way before we have gender or skin color or any of that. So let's see, what's crowning this, hovering above this all? Is the 3 of Cups. Good. Now this is something that has to be chosen, the 5th position. It hovers. Sometimes it's just going to land anyway, no matter what you do. But then you have free will as to what you want to do about it. This is an emotional bond, the 3 of Cups. This is a real feeling for each other. Certainly can be friendship. I mean, the only thing that's screaming, honestly, romance here is that word romantic power. in the Prince archetype, this could be a friendly thing. This could also be an empathic bond that if you're not aware of, you might be feeling each other's stuff. There are certain soul contracts that do that, right? If you're even anywhere near the same frequency, it doesn't matter how far apart in distance you are from each other, you could be feeling each other, like not telepathy through the third eye, but telempathy, which is more emotional. I think it's a new word. I think I made that word. Let's see. Google. All right. What is, just going to move these over. What is before them on the path of true love here? They're not really sure which one the Gemini is here. Could be either. I've dated a bunch of Gemini princes. Prince of Darkness. Speaking of Prince of Darkness, the Coyote Woman, the Shadow Work card, the Devil card, half of the Devil card. It's a feminist deck. It doesn't use patriarchal imagery that much. So they took the Devil and made it into the card of oppression and the card of the Trickster. Now, this is your first major arcana here. So it does say that fears have to be faced. The Trickster, there's Trickster gods in every pantheon as far as I'm aware of, right? But, they're not evil. They're teachers, right? It's learning how you sabotage yourself. Now, literally on the card down here, the coyote is casting a shadow. So I would certainly say there is some sort of spiritual healing going on here. And it's so funny how people talk about shadow work like it's like brushing your teeth, although it can be a daily experience like that. There are many ways to do shadow work. The psychological, which is what a lot of psychology, when you go to a counselor, a therapist, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, but there is also the shamanic aspect of it, right? Going into the underworld, which is more my take, although I have access to good counselors should I need them and have in the past, certainly. So understand that there are some real controlling fears that are going on here, I think both for the magical child and the prince, about where this is going or even what this is. The emotional bond there, I could see somebody not really, I could see the magical child really being, but I feel you, and the prince being like, I'm not ready for this. Too much thought. But it's a Gemini read. Why wouldn't there be too much thought? I'm a Virgo, so I understand that. We're both ruled by Mercury. All right, what's the internal lesson here? We got a good cross going on here. Makes sense. But what's the lesson going on here? What are the gods trying to teach them? All right, you got your first court card here, the Leo card, Shantico, the Mother of Flames. That would be the Queen of Wands, the Leo card. Fifth house dynamic, creativity, good fortune, pleasure, very, by the way, feline, right? Leo and Bastet. Bastet, the Egyptian sun goddess, one of. More thought of as the warming sun than her sister Sekhmet, the destroying sun, the angry sun. Fixed fire, right? Something's baking on the inside. Now, I doubt this is about somebody external to you. Because the heart, throat, third eye, crown, this can very much be, again, element of fire, throat chakra, what you yearn for, what you burn for. But what are you going to do, right? What is your will, your choice, your decision here? Now, fixed fire, like an oven, right? You don't want the temperature oscillating up and down, right? The degrees, if you want something to bake properly so that you just don't get warm batter or ash, right? You want to keep that in there. So you're learning something about your creative power here, creating your reality. And honestly, the heart, throat, third eye, crown chakra has its own form of intuition. Even though each chakra has its own voice of intuition, those four together are called creative intuition. Like, think about, what do I want for dinner tonight? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then you drop it down into the lower chakras and take action. Well, this could be some kind of creative work for you, whether you're the prince or the magical child here, that there's a lesson there. Oftentimes this can be about using your creativity to perhaps do the shadow work. Yeah, it could also be about pleasure. Absolutely, that fun, that play there too. From the outside looking in, how does the world vibe on this? What's the vibe they're putting out? A second court card and a second element of fire here. Sagittarius, Carwoodwin, the crone of flames, that is the Knight of Wands in the traditional tarot. It feels fun. It feels passionate, mutable fire, flaming arrows, lots of desire, ruled by Jupiter. So again, you don't have to have like Leo and Sagittarius in your chart. If you do, it's going to help you tune to it a little bit more. You know, look what house it's in and all that. Your sun, moon, rising, blah, blah, blah. But there is a sense of freedom here. So I'm not getting such a heavy on this, at least in terms of if you were to step out of this relationship and look at it from the horizontal instead of, you know, the vertical, which is what most readings are, to really see it that way. This is vibing. This is feeling good. This is fun. But I think this prince is just a little tied up in a mental knot about this. And the magical child might be thinking about it, but I don't think they care. I mean, if this is romantic sexual, I think that 5 of flames in the past really influenced this. It might have been very, very, very fun, very, very, very passionate, but with some fallout in terms of the mental here. So I get that vibe that this is fun, and particularly with the 3 of Cups crowning. It's like if you could say, look, let's just enjoy this. Let's just see where this goes, right? Sagittarians are not always so destination-oriented. They are more about the journey, right? The archer, the hunter, right? The centaur, the centaur, galloping through the forests. All right, my goddesses, what's the destiny here? The destiny hewn from fate. Should they do the alchemy required, particularly that coyote, their only major arcana on the table so far? Where are they on the hero's journey of the path of true love inside? And a third court card, Capricorn, Passoe, the buffalo woman. Cardinal Earth, that would be the King of Pentacles. So here we see highest potential, 10th house dynamic. Now, highest potential sounds good, but I think the rule is if you saw your highest potential all at once, you would run and hide. That is certainly scripturally seen as so many, just talking the Bible as well as mythic stories, you know, in terms of stuff that's written down, where the hero avoids the call and then disaster ensues. Luke Skywalker, first movie. Good example. Sand people, right? But think about the mountain as climbing that mountain. Step by step, slow and steady wins the race. That your destiny is about being the hero on the hero's journey here, but certainly Saturn-ruled Capricorn can be about learning, can be about setting healthy boundaries. Saturn, the planet with the ring around it, because I guess we liked it, so we put a ring on it. This really is about your own internal wisdom as well, but hard-won wisdom, right? And knowledge plus experience equals wisdom. That's what takes it from element of air down into the element of earth. And again, if you have placements in any of these signs, great. But really, I would suggest looking more into the dynamics of the house. So we're looking at 5th house, 9th house, and 10th house. Interesting. And the Blue Jay agrees. Twice. Please take a nice deep breath. He wants me to talk back, but he doesn't understand I'm on camera. Oh, I shouldn't guess the gender of the bird, should I? Please take a nice deep breath. All right, my goddesses, outcome here, most probable outcome timeline of this lifetime for the Gemini Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. Child, magical child archetype, prince crossing their path or vice versa. What's their outcome? And you have got your third card, 5 here, right? You've got the 5 of flames here, you've got the 5 of blades there, here you've got the 5 of pentacles, earthquake. Now, I know, traditionally left out in the cold, someone's been ghosted, maybe that is the case, but this card is called the earthquake. Its 5s are about change, that's why the pentacle is used as a magical symbol, right? Fire, earth, air, water, spirit, but they don't last very long. 5 of earthquakes don't last very long, but their repercussions go on. In some cases, those fault lines never close back up. So there is a disruption here. I don't believe that any one card is wholly positive or wholly negative. I think that's a little key-wordy for me. I'm not into that so much. But it does feel like something shifts inside of whoever I'm reading for here, that something is shook. Now we're going to look at the outside. The Mythic Tarot will complete the chakric spectrum here, the root, the sacrum, the solar plexus, but do understand that those are the chakras that navigate the physical world. They're also where we store our relationship patterns, root chakra, tribes, groups, families, circles of friends, even your racial consciousness, your political affiliation, where you live. Like, I'm a New Yorker, that's a tribe. I'm from Long Island, that's a tribe, right? Not to mention the genetic stuff. Second chakra, one-on-one relationship, which is what we're looking. Think umbilical cord, right? Navel to navel. Second chakra to second chakra. And solar plexus is your relationship to yourself, your self-esteem, which is really what the path of true love is about. Your self-esteem, your honor code, what you will and what you won't, what you do and what you don't, which is very Capricorn as well. Please take a nice deep breath. All right, my gods of air, the sign of Gemini, powers of the east, lower three chakras, Mythic Tarot. What's going on here? From the outside looking in, the inside looking out, but regardless, having to do with the lower three chakras for the Gemini collective watching this. We've got the child with the magical sub-pattern, right? The magical child with Bastet on the inner. What's going on there on the outer? Please leave that card in my hand. That's 2. I know it's Gemini. It was 1 card here. Where are they on the path of true love? The Chariot. So the magical child driving the chariot with this sense of play. Slow down. Slow down. Slow down, kid. I think this prince might be a little steamrollered by that kind of energy, but you know, it feels very Gemini. Even though there's no air necessarily presented in the tarot energy there, this is about balancing motivation and inspiration, the dark horse and the light horse, the stick and the carrot. That's why it's a Cancerian card. It is very much about motivations and what drives us there. But there's a balance in there, that wanting to have fun. It's like, come on, let's just have fun. What's going on with that prince there, please? Lower three chakras. The sun. 2 major arcana cards. Now, I'm just going to say that using power for self-aggrandizement could be on the table here in a big way. They may be fronting as this. They may be fronting as, no, I'm so happy. Really, but with this hurricane going on under the surface for both of you, tune in. Tune in. Tap into your intuition on this one, because otherwise we are really looking at an incredibly charming prince. Now, Apollo is a prince of Olympus, right? The king and the queen, Zeus and Hera. Everyone else is princes and princesses. I don't know about their siblings so much. That must have been an interesting thing, right? But that's why Lord of the Underworld, Hades, God of the Oceans, King of the Oceans, Poseidon. But this is a god of healing. This is a god of light. This is a god of happiness. And yes, the most positive card in the deck, lightening, not lightning, but lifting, lighting, uplifting, lightening all the cards around it. And consider that 4 of Blades. Look, who doesn't have subconscious patterns and self-deceptions? Just things we believe. Come on. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. No. No, it just looks that way, right? That's a delusion that we all believe. Well, what time does sun rise? It just looks like it rises. The planet turns on its axis, right? See what's there. So, and the sun card can very much be about that, too. But this 5 of Blades on the inner for both of them. Okay, before I flip this card, I haven't been coughing all morning. And I noticed that when I'm doing readings, and it's a cough, it is usually a throat chakra saying, something has to be expressed here. And you've got the 4 of Swords on the 5 of Blades, your first double whammy here in this reading. So it's like there's not really any talking going on here about the underlying thoughts that are going on here, and certainly maybe an avoidance of deeper conversation. A lot of passion, a lot of fire, a lot of thought, and really, in terms of water on the table, you only have the Three of Cups. I mean, more may be coming. But from the outside looking in here, I would even say Four of Swords, that you might be avoiding really talking to each other, either about what's really going on here, because, you know, you don't want a turd in the punch bowl. Hollywood Nights. Interesting. Just an interesting thing here. And certainly that Four of Swords replicated from the internal of the Prince here. It feels like there's a little bit of a timeout here, taking a break, letting things settle on the outer, well, on the inner, with that Five of Blades, the Hurricane. All right. What's this blow up here then, right? What brought this? Because the magical child's still all in, right? The Prince might be slightly reticent, or just there's a smudge on the lens there. So that Pele in the past, internal, Seven of Swords on the outer. I have a feeling that for some of you, not all of you, this was, let's use a really interesting word, an illicit relationship, meaning it was kept in the shadow. What you did in the shadows. I'm in love with Guillermo. It's a thing. I'm coping. He's too young for me. So the sneaky. This is a sneaky card. This could be sneaking around, and I don't necessarily think that you are sneaking around on each other. I think for some of you, not all of you, there are certainly other interpretations to that you two have been sneaking around, and it was hot and passionate, but you can't put the genie back in the bottle. You can't unerupt the volcano here. Feels like the magical child is seeing the potential in this, but the Prince is like, I'm really happy, but what will they say? What will they think? What will they, you know. That is a scenario. Now, the other thing with the Seven of Swords there, it can certainly be a piece of self-preservation, right? Stealing the swords so that they can't come and get you. A lot of air going on here, but again, I'm reading for Geminis. Let's keep going. What's going on in the crowning situation here? That Three of Cups on the inner. You want me to take that one? That's a new way to hand me the card. The Emperor. No, the Prince is not an emperor. But the Emperor crowning here is somebody really taking control of the situation. Now, how they do that depends on what they think and what they want and what they feel. But with that emotional bond there, bonding, that friendship, that Three of Cups, this might be about being magnanimous, about not being the bigger person, but being, the amalgamation of all the kings of the tarot, right? The Spirit King, the Emperor. But certainly the Emperor is in control. It is divine masculine energy, Empress being divine feminine energy, archetypally as one card. So this could also absolutely be about formalizing something, of making this a thing, right? I don't know, that Seven of Swords, it might even be that you guys kept your relationship on the down low for social reasons. And this is more like saying, no, enough of this. We have this emotional bond. It feels good. I can see the magical child saying, I'm having a lot of fun here. And I can see the Prince saying, this is so great, but. So that could be for either one of you or both of you really making the decision. Fifth card, right? The fifth position hovers, it crowns, but it has to be incarnated, it has to be chosen. But sometimes it just drops into physical form anyway, no matter what you do. But then that makes sense with the next card here, what's before you, the Trickster. Trickster on the inner, some shadow work, some sabotorial energy here, which makes sense with this card of deception and the Hurricane and the Four of Swords at the core. What's going on here? The High Priestess. Now look, I would really recommend that if you're going to do High Priestess, be aware of keeping secrets, because oftentimes, I'm sure you've heard this before, you are as sick as your secrets. Now, isn't that also the Blue Book, 12 Steps? I never actually did Alcoholics Anonymous, but I studied it as a healing modality for the spiritual, divine part of it. Keeping it in the eye, right? You're as sick as your secrets. So I would really, as I said before, really tune into your intuition. I would use that. Don't have to talk about it, but particularly with shadow work on the table. This is Persephone in the underworld, right? She's got a pomegranate in one hand and wilted daisies in the other. She's no longer the maiden of spring or the lady of summer. Here she is queen of the underworld, which is where the shadow work doth go down. Symbolically. I want to write a book about shadow work because I sometimes really enjoy it, which a lot of people seem not to. Not all the time, sometimes. So this might be about secret knowledge, hidden knowledge, more of the intuitive, virginal, and by virginal I mean untouched, not necessarily sexually virginal, but a certain purity and innocence of there to just really feel what's going on there. But not necessarily talking about it, and I think that does lend itself to what's going on in the core here. That emotional bond, the Three of Cups is not complete emotional oneness, certainly, but there is that thing of, I'm feeling this, are you feeling this? Let's put this on the table with the Emperor, and then let's go do our own work. Right, let's you do you, I'll do me. It's very much practical magic. It's October at the time of this recording. I have to watch. I need my dose of the sisters on that. Right, you know, you do what you do, and I'll do what I do. We'll see how it goes. Inspector Howlett, so cute. One green eye, one blue eye, one pink eye. Let's keep going. In your lesson here, we've got that Leo card. No flippers today. The Queen of, that would be the Queen of Wands, the Mother of Flames, Chantico. Something about that fifth house energy, creativity, good fortune, pleasure here. What's going on? What's their lesson on the outer? The Gemini card, the Dioscuri, the Knight of Swords here. So this can very much be, for the Gemini, I mean, cross-watchers take this into consideration, about them really honoring their own creativity, their own passion, their own fire. Remember, they got the Chariot on the outer, the Six of Flames on the inner for a magical child. This could really be about them learning real lessons about how they create. Now, creativity can also be the stories that we create. And I think with that Prince archetype with deception on the inner, the things we tell ourselves that may not be true. The great thing about the Knight of Swords, the Gemini card here, is that it is about third house, self-expression. So how you take your creativity, your passion, your sexuality, all that fifth house stuff, and communicate it. Because honestly, if there is communication between the two of you, I think it's, well, there's no sense in dancing around the subject. A wound gets worse when it's treated with neglect. Stevie Nicks. It's a good day. I channeled the Stevie Nicks lyric for you. All right, the Sagittarius card, how this is vibing on the horizontal plane, how the world sees this, feels this. What's going on the outer there? A lot of fire here. The Ten of Flames, now the Ten of Wands. Now we know it as a burden card. Certainly, again, the mythic tarot bases everything on Greek myth. The suit of wands is the quest for the golden fleece. Here, the golden fleece has been retrieved at the 10, but the ship, the Argo, hence Jason and the Argonauts, it's all busted up on the beach, and those planks are what make the wands. This can be a completion of a cycle of desire here and wanting more. In other words, no card is wholly positive or wholly negative. It's all a scale from lead to gold, shadow to light, pain to peace. So this can be, wow, like if you were to see the Gemini in this, or the two of them together, you'd be like, whoa, hot couple. They could do anything together. Particularly with that Sagittarius. There's a lot of fire here on the table. And this is honestly feeling very romantic. We still have oracles to hit the table. but could be too hot not to cool down. Has to have some boundaries on it. There are things that are not being discussed here. There might be some deception on the part of the prince that the magical child is aware of, but may not know the specifics on. That kind of stuff, confusing things. So I get the feeling there's probably little to no communication. And like I said, if there is communication, it's not really talking about the truth of what's going on here, not going to the heart of the matter necessarily. But this is a hot one. I mean, there is great freedom in here, a lot of play, a lot of fun, and a lot of fulfillment of desire. That's why I don't feel that this relationship, it may have been overburdened at certain points. Relationships do that as part of a natural cycle. But that you guys are at the end of a cycle of desire. Maybe you had your ba-boom of that volcano happen on the sneaky. And now what? Right? Okay, so now this phase of it is over, but there's still a lot of desire going on here. Right? I'm not seeing the death card on the table, but we've still got 2 more tarot to hit. So please, my gods, Pasoe, the Buffalo Woman, Capricorn on the inner, what's on the outer? Their hopes and fears, their destiny hewn from fate. 6 of Swords. I think this is the communication. I think this is about the bringing things into balance to resolve the 4 and the 5 with the 6, moving from rough waters to smoother waters through a mental journey. Now again, that can be counseling, that can be therapy, that can be journaling, that can be self-expression, and I think the Knight of Wands, the Gemini, might be the one who actually talks about this. There is also the possibility that the magical child did something that the prince took as a deception. Maybe the magical child deceived the prince, but that Sun card there, kind of getting that I think the love is still here. The emotional bond is still there. It's just with that Emperor. You guys have to really look at this, structure it, look at it. And with that Capricorn, there's a higher potential involved here somehow, but there's a mental journey, a mental balancing that needs to happen here, a healing conversation, which apparently looks like it's going to change everything inside of you. That 5 of Pentacles, earthquake, as the outcome. What's going on there, please? Lower 3 chakras. 8 of Pentacles. This can be worked on. This relationship can be worked on. But it has to be worked on in the physical world. There are things that have to be done in the outside world in order to balance and compensate this shakeup within. Now, earthquakes, we can only think of them as destructive. But an internal earthquake can be such a radical shift where you didn't realize the wisdom that you had until you did, and then willing to put your head down in this relationship, or maybe let's keep it in the eye. You keep it within yourself, right? It's like, no, I'm going to work on me. I'm going through a lot of internal changes. I'm learning a lot of things right now. Let me put my head down, like make sure, particularly as this relationship is concerned, that your finances are moving forward in some way, right? That your physical health, that the work that you're doing in the world doesn't get sacrificed, particularly if you're the magical child, just to refresh, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. Well, in a relationship, that just never happens. You have to put in work. You have to put in the effort to make a relationship work. But I think there's such a radical but quick shift with that earthquake as your outcome here. That's in the future. But do remember, card number 6 and card number 10 can always be changed unless it's completely faded. So I think the shadow work here on the part of whoever I'm reading for here, the High Priestess and the Trickster, the Devil card, would of course lead to that radical but fast change. 5 of Pentacles on the inner, doing the work on the outer. 8 of Pentacles. Let's go to Oracle land, shall we? Whispers of Love Oracle, one for both of them, the higher selves of all involved. Please take a nice deep breath. Here we go. The higher selves of all involved. please. 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above. What is the whisper of love? A piece of information, inspiration, insight needed for this Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Path of True Love, timeless read here for the magical child. We'll do it face down, that's fine. And for the Prince archetype, let's see what your higher selves suggest. Okay. For the magical child, like attracts like. If you are longing for more love in your life, you need to be more loving, and I don't feel like that's an issue here. This magical child really does have this sort of lit up, fun heart, the Chariot, willing to move forward, but are you willing to express, right? You need to be more loving. Again, I'm not feeling that's the issue here. I feel like there is a lot of love here between the two of them. Although only one water tarot on the table, there may not be a lot of emotional expression going on here. Not even on the inner do we get a lot of water energy, except for that 3 of Cups. So that like attracts like. So for the magical child to do this work, right? If this is the shadow work that they really want to, but might be afraid of moving forward, being more loving, even if through prayer, meditation, sending love, that kind of stuff. Because the Prince has got miracles and blessings. Everything has its gift. Now, as I said, I'm a student and a teacher of A Course in Miracles. I don't think you could do one or the other. I think they're both the same thing, because, well, you teach by example, certainly. That there is a forgiveness and there is a miracle, that they can see the lesson in all of this and the blessing in it. A blessing. Oh, new word. Blessing. A blessing lesson. Everything has its gift. Miracles and blessings here really do say, the higher self speaking to the one with the Prince archetype, it's like this sunlight, this sunshine really is a miracle. It's like you are seeing things clearly. There is an alchemy going on here. If there was deception that went on in this relationship, what was that? Was that clairaudient, or is that somebody backing up? It was weird. This is just a new sound in the condo development. High frequency too, and maybe that's a sign as well. Maybe that's part of this reading. It's like there's a signal, there's a sound, there is. Be aware that there's a miracle and a blessing on the table here in this relationship, a real opportunity. Now it depends on your definition of miracles. Course in Miracles. Miracle is a shift of consciousness from a thought system based in fear to a thought system based in love, essentially turning the other cheek. But the traditional meaning of a miracle is something occurs which defies natural law, right? And this can be often because we have a story running in our head, right? All this mental conflict, and then we get this clarity and we say, oh my God, none of that was real. Oh my God, that was all a deception. It was all a delusion. Hello, the illusion of separation, that we're separate from each other, is a huge delusion, and look at the chaos it's called, and the pain and the suffering. But we're immortal souls that come in to play the game of separation, so, you know. No tea, no shade, no pink lemonade. Everyone's doing the best they can, no matter what they might look like in the process. But like attracts like, and a miracle. Work, higher selves. The Divine Animal Oracle. Stacy DeMarco's deck. Love this one. Who's the totems or the spirit animals helping this along? Please take a nice deep breath. This one takes a second to tune to. As I call upon the spirit animals and totems for the Gemini collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign watching this video, receiving the energy of this reading. What is the Divine Animal Oracle, the magic in particular, helping this, right? Walking the path of true love, flying, crawling, swimming along with the Gemini collective in this timeless true love read. The Jackal. Oh, that doesn't bode well. Well, the jackal in a way is a kind of coyote, ain't it? It's definitely the Canis family. Truth! Oh, jackal. Yeah, that's truth has got to come up. I didn't even feel that one coming. That wasn't even a tickle in my throat. That wasn't even a candy bar in my dad's back pocket. God, that was fucking random. I'm having fun, though. This is a fun read. It's not the Path of True Love. It's a hero's journey. It's not hearts and flowers, ham and pears, 24/7, 365, century after century, lifetime after lifetime. It's not much of a hero's journey if there ain't challenges. Right? Card number 44, the Jackal. Just going to read the beginning and the ending of this chapter. Truth. Card number 44. Authenticity is important. Live your truth fearlessly. This is for both of you. Someone around you is not telling you the truth. Deception card much? Do not fear what you cannot control. Do not fear what you cannot control. We will all leave a legacy, so you should consider what this might be for you. Death is a part of life. Yes, because the jackal god in Egyptian mythology is Set, essentially the Hades, the death god, but also a trickster. Also a trickster, so I'm putting that right underneath that trickster card there. And this is the last card in the deck. It's had a Peter Brady moment. The Magic. Sometimes we need a big dose of truth in our lives, which is where jackal energy is a positive force. Even when finding out the truth of a situation, even when finding out truth of a situation means pain, it is better to know the truth, and jackal energy can be a comfort. Well, the truth does set us free, but it usually pisses us off first. Wait, who said that? Who said that? Wasn't Helen Gurley Brown? Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot who said that. Also, call upon this energy when you or others are affected by death. Allow yourself to know that the person who has died has a soul that is being carefully protected and watched over. Gloria Steinem, thank you. Whoever that was, it was Gloria Steinem. The truth will set you free, but it'll probably piss you off first. Paraphrase. Look, this is a true love read. Truth has to come out here. There is a deception, but I think the deception starts on a level of mental storytelling, of assumptions, 4 agreements. Don Miguel Ruiz, be impeccable with your word. Make no assumptions. Don't take anything personally and do your best. I think would be a good application to this situation for the Geminis. Look, Geminis, I don't want to say you're all two-faced, but you're twins. It's okay to have different thoughts about things, to be pro and con. That's part of the Gemini alchemy and genius, right? Like a Gemini, like a bee, goes from flower to flower to flower to flower to flower, collecting the components and then making something completely unique, like honey, out of it. The truth needs to come out here. And I do feel like whoever the Gemini is here with this lesson, to really take that fixed fire and really speak your truth in a way that is authentic. Authenticity is important here. There may be loss as a result. Maybe this is about losses you've both had before. You need to bring that stuff up and share it, because honestly, the Prince with that Sun card, there is that authenticity, that truth, that happiness, and in a sense, that freedom. This also reframes, the Jackal reframes this a bit, that there is a need for freedom here. There is a freedom inherent here, but that perhaps you guys are at the end of a cycle, right? Perhaps you are burnt out, but I do feel like the sex was good. Like, really good. I think you got what you wanted, but now it feels like there's no communication. Maybe someone did get ghosted here. I don't get that vibe, though. I don't get that vibe, though. Not with miracles and blessings and like attracts like. Last card down. The Healing Mantra deck by Matt Kahn. No matter who you are in this. The Magical Child archetype or the Prince archetype. This will help heal the whole thing. But definitely check your other signs, at least for the other mantras. Please take a nice deep breath. Because this is something you can control, right? Particularly with that Emperor, such a card of control. You heal you, but let's see what it says as I call upon the Ascended Masters of the Path of True Love, their hero's journey, their healing journey, their spiritual path through this relationship. This Gemini Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, Magical Child, and the Prince here on the table. What is the perfect healing mantra to help them take the hero's journey, heal, grow, learn, and evolve. Amplifying abundance. Abundance is my birthright, and I receive it now. Now look, there's not a lot of money necessarily represented on the table. It doesn't mean that there's a financial issue, except that Eight of Pentacles at the end, but I don't think that's what this is. Abundance is my birthright, and I receive it now is about letting your light shine at full capacity. That's what I'm going to read from the book. And this one comes with a little song and dance, by the way. Abundance is my birthright, and I receive it now. Hey, abundance is my birthright, and I receive it now. Hey, I was raised by a nursery school teacher. I learned lots of things through music, like the alphabet song. Did you know it's also Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star? I only learned that in my 40s. I fell off the couch. Amplifying abundance. Abundance is my birthright, and I receive it now. When you are abundant, you feel confident that life will always meet your needs, whether things go according to plan or not. And I think that's the thing. There's a lot of potential going on here, or at least the magical child is feeling that. A lot of abundance, like a lot of opportunity, a lot of fun, but things might not have gone as planned. Abundance is not a matter of having more than enough. I know that's what we think, but it's not. It's not. But of seeing from the soul's perspective that only your ideas and beliefs can ever limit your experience. That's written all over this read, with all these swords on the table, swords and blades. Abundance, okay, this is a lawyer thing, raised by a nursery school teacher and a lawyer. Abundance is a readiness to be supported by the universe in exchange, clause in the contract, for letting your light shine at full capacity. And what is your light shining at full capacity? Your authenticity. Your truth. Light is truth. Enlightenment is entruthment. Getting metaphoric lightning, like in the card of the tower, right? Literally getting struck by lightning. Getting struck by truth, usually. This mantra is ideal for unraveling beliefs of lack and scarcity, which could be at play here for sure. Overcoming fear and increasing confidence. Look, I have to say, it feels like the prince is under some sort of delusion here about something that went on in this relationship. It feels like the magical child has the opportunity to rush in and fix that. But there's a hurricane brewing. Maybe there is an avoidant situation here. You might not want to deal with each other. But truth is necessary. Even if you go in, blurt out the truth, and fly away, I think it would end this. It would end some of the pain, the toxicity here. There is great, big, huge potential on the table here for both of you in terms of that abundance. And it is your birthright. It just may not go the way that you want it to go all the time. But if you know you are shining your light at full capacity, then the universe, by law, has to support you with the things that you need in abundance, maybe not always the things that you want. And just as a little law of attraction correction, when you manifest something that you want, that you also need, you think you did it. But when you manifest something that you need, but you don't necessarily want, you think you did something wrong. Neither one of those things are true. Those are stories we tell ourselves. Sure, what we really create is our psychological state. We create our reality, how we think, right? The spiritual lessons, how we think, the choices that we make, and our emotions. And that's a learning curve for all of us. You can't get it wrong, right? You can't blame a baby for not understanding advanced algebra. I'm 52. I don't like mixing numbers and letters unless they're on passwords, right? We good? Let me put this together for you in a little bit of a blessing here for both of you, because a magical child and a prince, this could be lovely. Please take a nice deep breath. As I call upon my collective pantheons of the divine to please bless the Gemini collective sun, moon, rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading with all that they need on the path of true love, with a magical child, seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible, and this prince, that their romantic charm and potential for power begins to emerge as like attracts like, and miracles are in play. With the shadow work of truth being revealed here within the self, and then through some kind of creative expression here, doing the interior work, the alchemy, the fixed fire alchemy of it, putting it into some form and communicating it here. This Gemini being fully authentic, letting their light shine at full potential, their truth shining at full potential, so that the potential that they feel in this relationship, the abundance of it, they can amplify that, because abundance is their birthright, and they receive it now so that they heal, they grow, that they play out what needs to be played out on the hero's journey for them, for their well-being, and for the well-being of all. So mote it be. So it is. It's a fun read, but you know, like I said, it's Path of True Love read. There's supposed to be demons and dragons along the way. If you don't have any Sith Lords, what's the point? You big Sith. So did you like it? Like it. Helps other Geminis see it. You want more? Subscribe if you haven't yet. I'm the fun one on YouTube. Certainly if you want to book a reading with me, link in the description box. Want to take a class with me, link in the description box. Want to read my book, link in the description box. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, my beloved Geminis. Stay outrageous. Stay truly outrageous. Stay truly, truly, truly outrageous. You gems. Hail. Farewell. And blessed, blessed be.